Beautiful people of planet Earth, today I've got something that just might revolutionize your content creation workflow, whether you're podcasting, streaming, or even producing music. Stay with me for the next few minutes as we dive into the Fifine Ampligame D6 stream controller. This is the new kid on the block that's giving the big players like the Elgato Stream Decks a run for their money. So what exactly is the D6? It's Fifine's answer to streamlining your creative process, a compact programmable control deck with 15 different customizable LCD buttons designed to put your most used functions right at your fingertips. Each button will feature a bright customizable display so you can instantly recognize your shortcuts. I'm going to walk you through that process and show you how that works. But as you can see, the difference here between this and some other Stream Decks is the lighted ring that is around this as well. And each one of these things, and I'm going to show you sort of the old school method here of showing you the actual manual that it comes with. Each of these has modes, so you can, I'll just walk you really quickly through the different modes. And this is mode 1, which kind of does the rainbow around here. Mode 2, which kind of like, I don't know, is a little bit different. It does kind of go through all the colors, really sort of cool. So you can just kind of find what works for your vibe, for your studio. And Fifine does a good job of, whether it's their, gaming card, their streaming cards, or their microphones. So you can just kind of mix and match and sort of find your vibe that works in your studio and get it lit. I like the actual last in the modes, which is right here, which is that sort of magenta singular vibe. So I'm going to find that one here. There it is. That's what I want. And there we go. So I'm going to walk you through the actual software that it comes with. It looks something like this. Very easy for you to download. And you just got to give it sort of control over your PC or Mac and allow that software to, utilize the functionality of that. And it's very similar to what you see from Elgato here as well. And really this is what sets it apart is this intuitive software. You can assign sort of complex macros, keyboard shortcuts, audio controls, scene switching, or even launch your favorite apps just with a single press. And unlike some of these competitors, Fifine software doesn't hog your system resources while running in the background. So I do like that. The buttons are a little more tactile than the Stream Deck, and they're a little bit bigger as well. So that may be something that you like. I would say one thing that I don't like as much is there's not a lot of lift back here. There really is just one sort of level that you can. It does have these rubber stoppers along here, so it's not going to slide anywhere. But the angle is, it takes a little bit of getting used to. I like my angle to be up a little bit so that I can sort of see, from a distance. So you may want to maybe prop something underneath that to get that like that, or find some sort of thing that will hold underneath that. But that is really, it's a small sort of, issue, I suppose, with that. So who needs this in their setup? If you're a podcaster like me, this is perfect for triggering sound effects, maybe switching between scenes, muting your mic during those unexpected coughing fits. I mean, we've all been there, right? So for streamers, you can switch between cameras, launch overlays, control your streaming software without breaking your flow. Musicians will love having instant access to different DAW controls without menu diving. There is an app store that's available right now for Fifine. Not as robust maybe as the Elgato app store for their Stream Decks, but I imagine that will build over time. But some of the bigger programs are already in there for you to have plugins that will allow this to run there. So I think the best thing to do here is to, jump into this demo, kind of like, let me show you how this thing works, how this can integrate into your podcast live stream or basic sort of work from home workflow. You set up buttons, for your most common actions. One may be, muting your system mic. There's a Zoom app that you can download too. So if you're on Zoom calls a lot, you may want to have these buttons. Let's just jump into this and kind of show you how this works. If you've done this with an Elgato Stream Deck, This is a very familiar thing for you to see. Over here, you've got the basic control deck, which is like, and we'll go through how to do some of these. Creating folders. So you're not limited to just 15 functions, just so you know. So what I like to do is I'll create a folder on one of these buttons, maybe down in the lower right, that, you know, like maybe my main stuff when I first log in the morning, the things that I know I do every single day here, but maybe I have a podcast and there's a workflow that I have for my podcast, and I'll put that as a folder icon right here, which will launch another set of 15 buttons that are just specific to my podcast, and I can go back very easily in the Stream Deck, and I'll show you how that works. You can set up multiple scenes as well. So this is the default scene that we're building on. You can create pages so that you have different pages within this that you see right here. And so if you wanted to create another scene, all you got to do is hit a plus, and it creates scene 1. And if you ever want to rename any of those, you just click this button right here, which you see underneath that image, and this will pop up, and you can rename default scene to to anything that you'd like. Hit enter, and then that's how you would rename that. Very, very easy to do. And then, of course, if you want to change any of the functionalities on the device itself, we'll walk through that. Maybe that's more of an advanced sort of thing, but we'll walk you through how to do that as well. Real easy. So let's just do something really basic here. Let's just say the first thing I want to do is open up my YouTube channel, and I want to do a button here that does that. So you just go down here to your toolbox, and you'll see website right here, and you just grab that website and you drag that across to this button right here, and then you'll see an icon for a website that Fifine gives you, that green Earth World Wide Web sort of logo. And then here we want to put let's put our YouTube channel. And so I'm going to paste the YouTube channel right there, and you can see it automatically, when I pasted the URL of the YouTube channel, it automatically gave me a YouTube icon. And one, I would say, slight down, thing that I would say for this is that looks like a pretty low resolution image. I'm sure it's a web search, and that's more of a, this is what YouTube provides to everybody kind of thing. But the cool thing about this is you can customize this icon. I'll show you how we do that. So let's just say right now, we're going to leave that. I'm going to show you how to bring in a customized icon. And we're going to title this Dealcasters, which is our YouTube channel. And I'm going to spell that correctly. And you can see it automatically populates on that icon. It automatically populates here on the device itself. You can see down there. But you might not be able to even read that. That's fine. You can go over to here and adjust the text. You can bold that text so it looks a little bit more legible, or you can increase the size, and you can see that size increasing. You can move it to any spot on the icon at the very top, or at the middle, or at the bottom. And of course, if you want to change the color, you click this button down here, and you can change the color. If you want to change it, I'm going to move this over here so you can see the color. And let's say we're going to make it more of this pink thing, and we hit that. And so that's okay. Doesn't look great. I want it a little more customizable. Maybe you do too. Here's how you do that. You're going to click this little gear icon here, and it's going to say select local file. Now there's other options here too. There is an icon library that Fifine provides to you, and it looks something like this. There's icons that they provide for Designer. There's icons that they provide as well as Windows controller icons. Obviously, that doesn't apply here, but just so you know, that's available. As well as, you want to do a screen capture, and you want to do something like that and create a screen capture, and then use that as your icon. It's going to automatically do that for you. You can see it just replace that icon. And when you do any change in the software, it will automatically do it here on the D6 stream controller. But again, that is just a screenshot. I don't love the way that looks. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to add my local file. And this could be just a square image that you've created of a logo. And for me, it's this. And so it will bring in the image, but you can see there's this square image around there. So you just want to get it to where you're at the very edge, and then just drag the corners to where you have it just around the edge of the icon that you want. And then you just click OK, and boom, you can see it replaced it on the D6 itself, and it also replaced it on the software. Now, because I had the name Dealcasters on this icon, I don't need the title on here anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that so it's nice and clean. And now, when I click this button right here manually on this, you're going to see that it automatically opens up the YouTube channel, which I had populated into the software. It automatically opened that up. Another thing you could do is maybe there's an application that you use primarily. And so let's go ahead and and you go here to the toolbox up here, and you see down here where it says open an app. You want to drag open an app. And right here, it's going to automatically give you whatever the top application in alphabetical order is. And for me, because I have a Mac, this says App Store. But if you click this drop down, it has every app that's on my computer. And so I'm going to click Logic Pro X, which is what I use to edit the audio podcasts for Dealcasters. And boom, every time I click this, it will open up Logic Pro X, actually. And you could see the icon is fine. Like sometimes they're brought in at lower resolution. Other times they look great. And I don't know if I need to have it say Logic underneath it, so I don't have to title it. And so I'm going to leave it like that. So now we've got a website and we've got an application on this particular scene. There's some other great things that you're able to do here. I'm going to show you that you can also go to the App Store. And let's say that I do Zoom calls and I want to get some Zoom functionality with the Ampligame D6. And so this blue icon in the upper left-hand corner is the App Store for Fifine. This has other things besides apps you can download. You could actually, the cool thing here is, these are the Fifine, things that you might want to, check out, microphones and headphones and such. But there's actually tutorial videos for how you can maximize the use of this Ampligame D6, other than this video, of course. But this is actually from the manufacturer itself. By the way, I should make mention, Fifine did provide this Ampligame D6 to me free of charge so that I could do a video like this and instruct you on how it works. But all of these opinions, and I certainly have them, are all my own. The other thing that it does is it provides you icons. Now, icons, these are created by, whomever, maybe licensed by Fifine. I don't know the background here, but, these are, these will provide you multiple different icons that are designed by certain people. There's a Photoshop icon pack. So if you're a big Photoshop user and you want to use a controller like this, these are just icons. So these are just the artwork that you can use for the functions. So the plugins are actually, what would allow you to do things on the Stream Deck. So you can see, for me, there's not a ton of these that I like to use. I've only downloaded a few on another computer where I use this Ampligame D6. Final Cut is what I use to edit video, and there's some really good functions there. Besides just maybe having it open Final Cut, there's other things like a blade tool if you're making slices, or what you most use in editing a piece of software for. If you find yourself hitting this thing the most times, you might, or doing multiple keystrokes, you can program that. And these plugins, are great for that. Adobe Premiere Pro is another video software, and there's a lot of Adobe stuff in here that's already done. And here's the Zoom plugin as well. So you can click install and OK, and that will go ahead and be on your Stream Deck for you to be able to go. What you do is you close here, and you can see in the bottom hand corner, here is what I talked about, which is Zoom. And so if you want to create an entire scene for Zoom, which I would recommend, I would create a folder, which we'll do here. We'll go up to the top, we'll go to create folder, and I like to do folders in the bottom right-hand corner so I know, hey, this is going to another set of 15, and we'll call this Zoom, and we'll hit, so now we've got this folder, and then we know when we double-click that folder, it now opens up another page. There's another thing, and you can see this back arrow right here would take you back to the original default scene that we were creating on. So I'm going to hit folder again, which is Zoom, and it's brought here. And so now you can just, whatever you need for Zoom, maybe you want to toggle mute on and off, you would toggle mute on and off. And so that creates this toggle button right here for your Zoom application. So at any point in time, you can add any of these. If you want, this is my leave meeting, so maybe you put that down at the bottom, and it would, whenever I'm in Zoom and I've got my D6 controller here and I see that button, when I hit that, I'm leaving the Zoom meeting. But that gives you an idea how to create a folder, how to add an application, how to go to websites, how to add an application from the Fifine store. All of these things are going to allow you, if you're thinking right now how this can improve your setup, think about all of the things that you do every single day and all the keystrokes and all the clicks and all of the macros that you can create where you can just say, I don't have to do any of that stuff. I can just hit this and it opens up all of the things that I do, and it can start to sort of increase your productivity because you're not just doing these mindless things that you can allow a stream controller like this to do for you. Not to mention something like this where you're recording a video and I create these scenes and then I'm just switching between all of the scenes. The other thing I would make mention of this tactile feedback is got just the right amount of resistance. There's no accidental presses during those, high energy segments. When you're recording in that low light, like I had mentioned, these backlit buttons will ensure, no matter what lighting you've got around you, you're going to be able to see these icons. These are very recognizable. And so the other thing I will say right now, this is pretty much, maybe what everyone is asking for, or maybe why you came to this video, is how does it stack up against the Elgato Stream Deck? I have a D6 and I have an Elgato Stream Deck, and this is an XL. So there's a lot of buttons on here. But I will say you don't need all of these buttons. You can do things like create different profiles and create different things on this as well. It basically does the same thing. There's less buttons. Many people don't feel like they need 30 plus buttons to do this on a particular Stream Deck. On this, I do like that the buttons are a little bit bigger and they're a little more tactile, so you can see that they're a little bit larger, and so you can see a little more clearly what they are in comparison to the Stream Deck. As I mentioned before, Stream Decks have a little more options in terms of the angle in which you are able to view it, so it is a little bit further up. Whereas, with this, you have to kind of be looking down upon it. So I find myself having to prop something underneath it so I can visibly see it. If we're going to get, nitpicky, the lower resolution sometimes, especially for the YouTube logo, which you saw earlier in the video, I don't love the low resolution, but chances are I'm creating a specific icon anyway for it. But some people probably don't care. I mean, they don't care about any of that. One other thing that I'll show you that I thought was, kind of cool here that you can do to customize it, I would consider this more of an advanced function. If you go up over here to the gear, the settings here, and you could see there is scenes, which we already walked through. Then there's device. And here is where you can adjust your brightness. The brightness is set a certain way, and you can kind of see, I'm going to hold this up as I drag this, you can kind of see it can get as bright or as dim as you want. But the cool thing too is you can actually set your brightness with a set of keys. So if I wanted to set my brightness, and you click on this and then you say, I want that button to brighten it, and I want this button right here to darken it. And now you've got buttons that will do the same thing in terms of brightening and lowering the brightness on your deck. So that's kind of cool. It's really basically, if you can think of anything that can be done on your computer, it can technically be programmed in the Stream Deck. So back to the settings. From here, you can go to General. And from here, this is, if you want to check for updates to the software for this, if you want to reset, that kind of stuff. The one cool thing that you can do as I go to device is you can replace the boot logo. And so that means like when you boot up your computer, you're going to get a general sort of Fifine logo kind of look before this, your main scene buttons come on. But like right here, if you have an 800 by 480 pixel image, you can replace that, and I'll go ahead and replace it, and you'll be able to see that. Clicking open, it's going to take a minute here to upload that, and then I'm going to switch to this look, and you'll be able to see the image of me. There I am with all my Stream Decks and all my screens. So that shows you just another sort of function for this. I honestly think it's great. I mean, I think, you know, there needs to be more competition in this space. I would say price-wise, this D6 comes in significantly more affordable. It makes it an excellent entry point if you're just starting to optimize your workflow. And, you know, but the Elgato ecosystem is more mature. It has more third-party plugins. But Fifine software is remarkably straightforward, especially for beginners. While it still offers some depth for people who are more advanced sort of power users. You know, maybe the trade-off is you don't get all the multi-level folders that Elgato offers. But honestly, you know, I found that these core functions are really 90% of what I need sort of day to day. How is this going to change your content creation? Yeah, I would say it will reduce like technical distractions, right? So it lets you focus on what matters. It's like, gosh, I keep doing this. I open the same folders. I open the same Google things. Go ahead and program that into each one of these buttons. It makes everything more smoothly. It speeds everything up. Used to take multiple keystrokes, now can happen instantly, and it shortens your recording and editing time. So if you're serious about streamlining your creative process, the Fifine Ampligame D6 deserves a spot on your desk. It's been a game changer for me, my work from home, and my podcast production, and I'm betting it will be for your content too. So if you're ready to up your game, shorten all your processing time, and do the things that you want to do, live life on your terms, I certainly hope this video will help you.